Good morning from Yami BTV. Wishing you all well today. Sending loads of love to you as usual. Right. Those that have followed my journey, last year we will remember that I lost my bestie brother, Wayne, aka Shax from Ladbroke Grove. One of my earliest school friends, a man that I had a lovely relationship over the best part of 50 years. He lost his life tragically, murdered in a bar down there somewhere in West London. Now, yesterday was a significant day and represents some kind of closure. I never understood what closure actually meant, but believe you me, it represents some kind of closure for real. The man that murdered him had his last day of the trial. The jury went out and they found him guilty of murder. First feelings that you get is good, good, good. You ought to die in there, good. You know, because the effects that it left on me and more so his lovely family, sisters Angela, Sonia, his grandkids, his nephews, his nieces, and his beloved mother. To see them go through that pain all over again since he lost his life last year, not to think the burial was enough, and the night mourning, I attended both. It was one of my first funerals of any kind, to be honest with you, and I suffered badly that day. I couldn't even go near the graveside properly. I was watching from a distance with one of my adopted sisters, Sandra Etienne. And when I was in the church and I had to go up and do the reading because I didn't understand the format of how it works, you know, looking at the program and that kind of stuff. But when they called me out to do the reading, I nearly folded in front of a packed audience in that church down by Ladbroke Grove. I managed to get through it, a few lines. I didn't get to say what I wanted to say. It was so difficult to be speaking on the microphone while the coffin was there, because you know that it's one of your beloved, lovely brothers lying in there. Now, seeing the pain etched on the family's faces as I was reading from a verse from the Bible left real pain for me. And obviously Veronica sitting next to me as well, who I went to school with, she was trying to nudge me when it was my time to go up. They were saying who's doing the first reading, and they said Samuel, but my name's Samson. But I didn't look at the program, I didn't understand it, like I said to you. But she was tearful, Sandra was tearful, everybody was tearful. The truth be known, the trial went as expected. His lovely girlfriend at that time, Lisa, will, you know, have memories of him dying in her arms that night, tragically. And, you know, will she ever get over it? I struggle to believe that she will, I'm afraid, because being a witness firsthand to a relationship that was really blossoming into full-blown love, if not full-blown love, will leave the mark and scars on her for life. Now, they went through the harrowing experience of a court case. Now, I've been on the other side of the coin throughout my life when I've listened to cases being in prison and stuff like that of many murderers who, you know, have got into a fight for one reason or another, but never ever been on the other side of it, outside, to see how the victims and how me as a person can feel it firsthand when you lose somebody that you really love. Because we know that human nature is, you know, you can pick up diseases and illnesses naturally in this life. It's not promised to nobody. But when you lose somebody to murder with unforeseen circumstances, because he wasn't meant to be there that night, I'm not going to go into that now. But when you leave it, because you don't get a chance, at least if you're ill in hospital, you know, you get a chance to say goodbye to your loved ones. When it's taken from you just like that, you know. And I was meant to have we agreed a week before to go and meet up with each other. Thankfully, I saw him the first year I was out a few times, and, you know, it was always a pleasure hugging the gentle giant who was Wayne Phillips, aka Shax. But to go through what they had to go through on the trial, and to see the perpetrator smirking in the dock as well, no remorse shown whatsoever. It was really, really harrowing. A couple of them had to run out the courtroom to be faced with it all over again, just after the burial and after, you know, the kind of not celebration of his life through the night mourning and other things representing a sad, sad loss. And I can honestly tell you, a lot of people in Ladbroke Grove were deeply hurt by that, by losing Shax, because it's not he lived a charmed life in the life that I led as well, but he didn't represent somebody that would be losing his life in those circumstances. Not that it can be said for anyone really being in the wrong place at the wrong time, but to go through that with the trial and being put through it, Lisa going on the stand and going over it all again, and then, the perpetrator's going to tell lies and whatnot to try and get himself the least sentence. I'm not going to go too much into that. But the first initial feelings, I was going, good, good, good. Yep, that's the way it's got to happen, and blah, 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 blah. But the truth is, the family will never get over the pain, because he represented probably one of the greatest brothers that a sister can have, and a lovely son that his mum, he was a proper family man, Shags. And, his mum, though strong and everything, she, at that stage in life, it's the last thing that she wants to go through. And also, no mum likes to really bury their sons. I was turned off from all these emotions, but it affected me so bad. That's when I went through that lapse. You remember, with everything going on, when the death thing and all that, and then something much, I got clean for a bit, and then it did torment me that I was so frightened to go into the courtroom, because I was thinking what it would do to me to be faced with the perpetrator now. What am I meant to do? Just turn around, keep looking at him? And no, my behaviour wouldn't have been acceptable if I would have gone there. But no, my heart goes out to his lovely family. Do they see it as closure? That the subject dies down after this, because undoubtedly it will never go away, and there'll probably be an appeal of that kind of thing. But no, to show no remorse as well was absolutely unbelievable. You know what I mean? Thinking about it all, and he never stood a chance, Shags, and he was only probably there on behalf of somebody else that night. He had a bad back. He didn't really want to go anywhere, to be honest, but found himself there, probably out of loyalty and friendship to others, if you get what I mean. But yeah, it was really sad. It was really sad for me. But yesterday I kind of went to bed early and everything, right? I kind of went to bed early and woke up thinking about it and understanding what closure means. That somebody close to you dies, and many do take revenge into their own hands, but the Lord is watching at all times and knows exactly the truth of what is going on. You can't squirm out of your bad deeds, I'm afraid, and you will have to face the music by spending a long time in there, and having been in there myself and watched many lifers over a lifetime, to know that you're to lie in your bed, probably be in denial and still not accepting your part in things. But believe you me, you will suffer, because all the things that you put faith and trust in for the life that you led, you won't be able to do no more either. So, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, 'cause thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff will comfort me. Do you get me? What goes around comes around, I'm afraid. But representing closure, I think in some ways it felt like a bit of weight was lifted off my heart this morning when I woke up, to know that it's been itched in, because I'm going to get daily reports from his family that are really my family as well, and hearing what they have to go through and experience in that courtroom was absolutely awful. But big love to the family, and God bless you all, and obviously his missus as well, who's sadly, for me, is traumatized for life. How do you get, it's all right comforting her, which I will do, for the rest of my days, but not, that's it matters if you're not present, because you're the ones that have to get the phone call, the family being told of his death. What a bad way to get the news. Not that any news of its kind is good, but you don't. That's the shock to get the phone call. And I remember experiencing that when my brother-in-law Yankee died as well. When my sister Jane rang me first thing in the mornings, crying her eyes out when he got murdered. Bloody hell, some life this, and yeah, that's about the best I can do this morning. But that's it. It does represent some kind of closure to me. I understand what it means. I'll be coming up afterwards, sending special love to you all.